So, hi everyone, and welcome back to the webinar series of February month, where we are going to discuss our view about conscious creation. And as last month, we spoke about identifying your void and making sure that you overcome or start overcoming your void such that you are more in alignment with your inner voice, inner calling, and living from there. Then you can start creating different goals, different uh, working on different projects in your life, or whatever that you wish to create in your life. So in continuation to that, we want to talk about how one can start living in a way where they are creating their life consciously. So when we are talking about conscious creation, we are not talking in terms of goals, or we are not talking in terms of a particular project that you want to accomplish. Of course, you can apply all of this to any particular goal or anything in your life. But we are here talking from the point of view of making it a way of living itself. So, we are talking about conscious creation, not about reaching a destination, but the process, how we make it a way of our being, a way of our living. That's what we are coming from. So, if you look at this topic, conscious creation, this uh, says the word conscious, and then something which is not conscious will also become part of conscious creation. So, we also need to look at uh, what is unconscious in our journey so that we can bring it to our conscious, make the unconscious conscious, and then we live from there and create from. Yeah. And that is a continuous journey. It's not a one time process. So just before the webinar, when we were talking about this particular topic, we were discussing, and uh, we realized that our mind, the way it works, you know, only 10% of our mind is conscious mind, and 90% of the mind is subconscious or unconscious. So, if we look at that analogy, at any given point of time, only 10 to 12% of my life in that moment can be conscious to me. And there would be so much, around 90% is either subconscious or unconscious. And that is controlling. That has a great grip on our thoughts, our feelings, our choices, actions, non-action, everything. So when we talk about conscious creation, if we want to live consciously, the constant journey is looking into the unconscious. What is unconscious? What am I unconscious about in my life? And how regularly being open to that and making it more and more conscious, because that is where our blind spots are, that is where certain patterns are. And just because they are so unconscious, they have more grip than what is conscious to us. Right, Priya? Want to add anything?
Hello, everyone. Uh, yes, I think what I would like to just add is at any given point, we like to stay in control of our lives. And that is the way humans behave, right? So we operate from the 10% of the conscious, knowing that we are in control of everything. And we try to control the consequence of the situation also from that. We try to control the way we respond also from the 10% of the conscious uh, knowledge or pool of information that is available. But most times it is the 90% which has the solutions, and that's where the response lies. So at any given point, we are not in control of that 90%, and there will be a kind of either resistance or uh, not knowingness to all of that. But the journey of conscious response or conscious creation at any point in time will come when we start accepting that, yes, there is a lot which is controlling and not controlling but impacting a particular situation. And if I really want to, respond differently or create a new path or bring in something which is not there today, I need to look at this 90%, or at least be aware that I need to look somewhere over there, which most times it doesn't happen. So I think the point that we want to make is when we look at the topic of conscious creation, we think of something which we want to create in terms of a goal. The topic sounds like that, right? But at every given point, we say, oh, so there are quotes around, you don't react, you respond. What is the meaning of that? Or when you make the unconscious conscious, it does not impact your life. What is the meaning of that? The meaning of that is when we stay with all the unconscious that is not there, which is impacting and controlling a particular situation, then things start surfacing in a particular way. And that allowing will bring up the possibility of a new creation. Right, Gayatri?
Yeah. And I think our environment is constantly showing us what is unconscious to us. So, again, there is another concept in so called spiritual journey that people around you and situations around you are the mirror. So, we understand that mental concept, but we need to live it. So, when a particular person is responding to us in a particular manner which hurts us or makes us angry at times, then the more appropriate thing is to ask that how do I feel in this, and what is this person trying to tell me. Usually because we want control, the conscious mind wants control, the tendency is looking outside, we want to change another person, or we want to have a control over other other people's choices or the way situations turn out, right? But the major uh, change in the direction can happen if we want to make unconscious conscious is all the time going within and asking, how is this situation making me feel, and what is my primary expectation over here? If that does not happen ever, how I'm going to feel? Because then there is a hook in it. Like when we want something so desperately, or we are so attached to any particular outcome in our life, that means something to us, and the absence of it is going to create an emotional reaction. So every time if we start doing that how does this make me feel, you will start noticing that. And when I say start noticing, it is just the beginning, that it becomes a way of living then, that anything happens around me, I first check how am I feeling in this. Am I liking this, not liking this? So if a particular pattern repeats in our life, say in relationships or friendships or finances, then instead of feeling victim to that, being at impact of that, we start acting and asking ourselves that what in me is manifesting this. There is a part in me who is creating this unconscious. So that is a very beautiful way to take charge of our life in the so called passive way. Because here we are not wanting to change people around us. We are not wanting to change situations. Yes, that is where we are looking at, because ultimately if the person we love behaves differently, then our relationship is going to look different, is how we perceive the world. So that might happen or may not happen, but turning within, looking within will bring us in charge of how we want to feel in a given situation. And then the creation can begin from there. So, and that is a difficult process, because mind does not like that discomfort of sitting with pain
or losing control.
Yeah,
Because you are delving into a part of your mind which does not have control, where you are not in control directly, right?
so people go into denial, or they suppress the feelings and they think that they have overcome it, so it is complete for them. So, or distract themselves in the process of avoidance. So all these patterns are also something to first identify and accept that yes, probably I'm doing all of this or one of this in a given situation. So you can apply it to any situation. It is not just about a particular goal. If you want to take a goal and apply it to that, that is also okay. But we are not talking from that perspective, right? We are talking from the angle that uh, every day, if you, at the end of the day, you sit with yourself and you ask, which events, which instances impacted me the most? Usually the negative instances do stay with us, and we keep feeling incomplete, right? Because the way the brain functions, it seeks completion. It seeks the state of wholeness. And when something has not gone our way, it remains incomplete. So there a lot of energy leak happens. We might feel sad, we might feel angry, and maybe we could not do anything about it. So we might feel helpless. So whatever it is. So before going to sleep, if you sit with any such experience throughout the day, whatever happened, good, bad, and looking at what is not complete for you in both kinds of experiences, and then asking yourself that what is this situation trying to show me? Is there a repetitive pattern over here? How do I feel in these kind of situations, or around certain kind of people? That is where you will start finding your answers.
In fact, when we are talking about this, something very beautiful struck me that most times we want to take charge of tomorrow, which is uncertain, right? Which is unconscious. None of us know what's going to happen, or even an hour after, any future, near future, long future. We don't know. All of this is unconscious. But the key to all of that unconscious also lies in our unconscious. We try to make it from the conscious. We try to take control and we try to say, okay, tomorrow we're going to do this and do that. But a lot of what is going to happen tomorrow lies in the unconscious. So that it's like, you increase that muscle of, okay, today I made this, which was unconscious till yesterday, I made it conscious today. Today, life showed me this about me. So tomorrow, I know a little bit about my life than what I knew yesterday. And once this becomes a process, then you start allowing life to unfold in a particular way. And that conscious creation is not goal based. Then it becomes a process of life. You allow things to come to you. You allow, like there's a quote which says, a lot of what is tomorrow lies in what is today, what you do now. What does that mean? It's not about what we are doing consciously, it's about how we are living with the conscious, with the unconscious, what is life going through. That is going to determine what is going to happen tomorrow, right? Can we decode all the 90%? Impossible, because tomorrow again there'll be another 90%. So it's not about knowing it all, but it's about making an attempt to know at least 1%, 2%.
What matters?
What
to me
matters?
today.
Yes, yes. Like Gayatri said, that moment which impacted me the most today. Life is showing me that there, no? So if we sit even with those moments, or even good moments, oh, these resources lie within me in my life, which I don't know. I can use it consciously, no, tomorrow. So can we even sit with the good moments in the day and see where was I most resourceful today? And tomorrow, where can I use it more consciously? Because it is there in my unconscious bag. So this process itself, we say, is what is awareness building, right? So what is the meaning of awareness? When unconscious becomes conscious, when we start using things the way we want, we start responding, we become more in control, right? And ultimately, all of us want to take charge of our lives in a particular way. So like Gayatri said, shared situations, people, life in general. He is showing us something at every given point, every given day. It's up to us to be open to that pool of unconscious at that moment. Right?
Yeah. In fact, when you start doing this process regularly, the first thing that can happen is you start identifying certain things which are incomplete, and in that you feel certain. So, acknowledging, sitting with it, allowing that emotion, if necessary, using breath work or EFT, so that you have started closing some amount of those files and completing. And when we are saying completing, we are not just talking about unpleasant experiences. If you go back to the December webinar, we spoke about completing the pleasant experience is also very important. So you start achieving some amount of completion every day and you become more aware about yourself. And then the next question can come to you. You can ask yourself that if there is a repetitive pattern, what is this trying to teach me? Because in the process of finding the logic in a given situation, finding that completion which the conscious mind seeks, it creates conclusions. Usually, these conclusions are limiting self belief, and that then starts changing our behavior. Learning is different than that. Learning is something which will resonate with your inner core and it will take you towards freedom. It will take you towards, strength, inner power. So it will empower you. So if you interpret something empowering out of a situation, then maybe you are, touching the lesson in that situation. So generally, we have seen that that is not very easy just to sit with yourself and finding the learning. That's where I guess therapy comes in picture. It helps you because a therapist is sitting in a neutral perspective and they help you look at your own life in that way. But you can at least start with this much because instead of keeping those files incomplete and going to sleep and carrying it forward next day, if we start becoming aware of, okay, these things happened today and impacted me today, so now I at least know consciously that what are my patterns. I may not have all the answers on the same day, but when you ask a question, for example, something happened you didn't like, at the end of the day you're asking, what is this situation trying to teach me, or what is unconscious for me in this situation. Now you have asked that question and you go to sleep. Next day, you might get up with an answer because your subconscious will process and try to show you. So you might get an intuitive thought, a feeling, something,
or a
regarding
different perspective to that entire
yes,
situation.
and then you will start noticing that those layers are opening. So in that, the unconscious will start becoming conscious to you.
It's like you're allowing the flow to happen. You're giving yourself permission to see it.
And why we are talking about conscious creation from this perspective? When we start making unconscious conscious, we start overcoming the layers which are uh, keeping us disconnected from our inner core alignment. Because we all have something unique in us which we can express. Everyone, no matter what kind of life they are living and what kind of goals they set, every soul will come with certain resources and strengths. So we all are unique. And if each one of us can get in touch with that inner guidance system, which sometimes we call intuitive guidance, right?
Or we call it in a voice, like we did the last.
Right. Then that has the best guidance for us. No external source, a psychic reading, a tarot reading, nobody can give you the best clarity than your own unconscious or subconscious mind. That's the reason so many times our clients report that after therapy, the clarity in thought, the decision making improves, even if they have not brought that kind of issue for therapy. Maybe they are working on their sadness or helplessness. But here, that is additional benefit. So, if you start creating uh, this way of living for yourself, you will start getting in touch with your inner voice, and that will never lead you astray.
In fact, at this point, I'd like to share this is the process of co creation. What do we mean by co creation? Co creation means we are allowing our unconscious to create along with our conscious. That is co creation. So we are in charge of both in a particular way. Our life is in charge of both in a particular way. But we only know the conscious. So when we allow the unconscious to show up, we co create from it.
And in that, when you start getting in touch with this part of you, you know which goals are coming out of a reaction, which goals are coming out of a void, which part of a particular goal might be coming out of some hurt. So, no matter how much you achieve, that feeling doesn't go away. So, once you are in touch with this, it won't be difficult for you to give up that part or transform it into something which aligns with your inner voice. Because when uh, the creation happens from the space of inner alignment, it happens out of pure desire to create something, joy of creation. It is not coming out of any reaction. I want this much money because I didn't have it. It won't be a reaction to my past. And that is, you can see, that is so next to kind of impossible, right? Because unconsciously we are, most of the time we are reacting to the environment. So even a pause, that sometimes something has impacted me so much that right now I'm really feeling very angry and very sad, and allowing yourself to feel that, that is also making that unconscious anger conscious so that it doesn't take your grip. And afterwards, after some time, when it settles down, you know it is there. But right now, I'm not thinking out of my sadness and anger, and then you can find a way out of it. So, that's what we believe is the process of conscious creation. And living from there, then whatever goals come to your awareness, they are coming from your alignment, core alignment. You will know that if you ask for something, you are God of your own universe, you will be given the resources. And you will know when you ask for something and that goal is not in your alignment, maybe it is not supposed to be that way, you will be able to accept it eventually. And that will also bring you peace. So all this clarity can then, begin. So I think that's what we want to share today and leave you with this particular exercise that we have spoken about this before also, but you can look at this from this perspective and start looking at your own self, which is usually difficult. Usually, mind will resist it. But slowly, if you start doing that for 21 days and then 40 days and then 90 days, it will become your way of being. It will become your habit, your lifestyle. From there, uh, the way you process, the way you live will change. So I think that's it we want to share today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can continue maybe with this task, small task every night. As to what was the most impactful moment, or what were the most impactful moments that my life took me through today, and what happened here? How did I feel? What were my thoughts? And if you are able to get answers, good. If you aren't at that point in time, maybe you can just stay with the thought that I allow my unconscious to show up. I'm willing, and just sleep with it. Maybe next day you will find a way out. And when I say way out, I'm not saying out of a problem, but a way out to respond in order to create a different reality.
And in fact, that's when we allow the insights also to come and we can stay with that. So sometimes the insight shows me that, I have a pattern of assuming and then creating hurt over here. So I'm not really connected with the reality. Did it really happen? Another person meant that, or I'm interpreting. Or maybe I'm just simply confused about something. So you allow that inside, that clarity increases. You start understanding yourself better. But you do not feel disempowered because of those insights. That, oh, I have such kind of pattern. You feel it is a good news. So end of the day, self empowerment, self awareness is all interconnected, but everything has one key, that changing the direction from external to internal. So this is the exercise we want you to start practicing, start sharing, and look at yourself. And from here, then we are going to talk about a few specific aspects of our life in the coming sessions of this month, so that we understand how to identify which aspect of our life we can consciously create and alter in terms of reality, and which part we may not be able to alter, and what to do about that. So that's it for today.